after being pecked by a radioactive bird, a somewhat mannered Tuthill was compelled to become Kineas, the Skydude. All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. A lot of heated conversation going on today about Archer Aviation. Good stuff. Okay. Is ATC bringing you down too fast? Well, it has been for me, at least in the 737. And I don't know that this covers all airliners, but it's been giving me fits with the 737. So if you don't want to stick around for the full flight, let me try to get through some of these workarounds that you can do as fast as I can, so you don't have to stick around for the whole flight. It's only going to be about an hour flight. Let's see what we got here. We have one. I had one set up here for Salt Lake City, or at least picked out. Yeah, 1 hour. Okay, Colorado Springs to Salt Lake City. Okay, so what it's been doing is, first of all, it's been telling me to climb and do cruises at really, really high altitudes, possibly even too high. And then it's been telling me to come down pretty much right before I'm at the arrival point, with not a whole lot of time to get down to the runway. For example, 36,000 feet down to 3,000 feet, and there's not enough time. There's absolutely not enough time to get down to the arrival altitude you need to do a safe manual approach or an ILS approach. Okay, so everybody, I've been looking in the forums. Some people say it's a bug, and some people are saying it's by design and you should have more experience. Well, I don't think you should have to have more experience. I think in career mode, the basic knowledge that you have, you should be able to get through any flight. And any flight that they set you up with in career mode should just work. That's my opinion. That you shouldn't have to have any advanced knowledge of the FMS or MCDU. And you really shouldn't have to double check the route that they give you to make sure that everything is correct in the EFB. It should be proper. It should be right. Okay? But for whatever reason, it hasn't been. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to take a look at is, don't trust the plan they set you up with. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to look at is your cruise level altitude. Okay, so right now I had it set to auto. So what happened when I came in here the first time is it set me up to 41,000 feet, and here it's setting me up to 40,000 feet. And here, if I set it to auto, it's 40,000 feet. Okay, now going over the mountains, that doesn't seem too terribly high, but what I really recommend you do is check your route to see what the highest altitude is, and find something maybe a little bit easier to do. So if we open up SKYVECTOR, okay, make sure that came up on the screen, and I look at the flight. Let me set this back to KCOS. This is a free program, and I love it. It is an amazing, amazing free program if you don't want to pay for other types of flight planning maps. But what it does is it shows you the altitudes. So from Colorado Springs, just keep in mind, just looking at the deep blue numbers here, like 14,500 feet, 14,000 feet here, 14,800 there along the route, 14,600. So we don't need to be at 40,000 feet, right? 30,000 feet would work. 23. I mean, we're only at 14. There's 11. There's 9. 9, 4, 9, 1, 8, 9. Okay, there's some 11,000s in the area. And then where we're going to be touching down is 4,773. 4,656. Okay, so we're gonna have to, so if you just left it and with what it gave you, so they're gonna end up having us come down from 40,000 feet to, you know, 4,000 feet. And usually they've been doing it to me right at the end, like right here on the flight plan. Okay. And so that's not, for me, it's not been enough time. And I have been having to set my descents way more aggressively than I would ever want to do. So what I really recommend is coming in here and, you know, let's just say try to change it to 250, 25,000 feet. Okay. Another thing you can do without mucking with the FMC is you can modify your flight plan. Okay, so here's the arrival, basically the arrival point here at waypoint Belpy. Let's see here, Belpy and P-Play. Where's Algae? Okay, so here's the approach: Algae, Hawker, Shovel, and runway 34. All right, so you might just want to, before you get into your approach, it's just set another point in the flight plan. Okay, so the first point they're going to hit us with is way back here, and that's 40N10 or P-Play. Okay, so we just might want to like add another point in our flight plan to come down to the desired altitude that we would like before we go into the approach. So let me just try to add one in here. Add to flight plan as a waypoint before Belpy. Let's see what that does. No, that didn't work right at all. That put one way back here. Remove from flight plan. Let's try this again. So, Algae. Dun, 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 dun. Add to flight plan as a waypoint after 40N10. Okay. So after 40N10, it added in this little bit here. If we want to be a little bit more aggressive, we can add this one in too as a waypoint after 40N10. Okay. So that gives us a couple of points to come down to before we go into the approach. All right. So those are two things that are easy workarounds. One, make sure that your cruise level is set to something that's not going to crash you into a mountain or hill, and then maybe add in a few points. Now, with regards to the MCDU or the FMS, let me get in here. That is the main computer of the airliner. Now, I think for beginners that are going through career mode, you shouldn't have to know this. You should not have to know how to operate the master computer. I really recommend learning what you can on it. Now, I've learned mostly on the Airbus. They call it the MCDU on the Airbus. In Boeing, they call it the FMS. They're the same thing. They're the master computer of the aircraft. Okay? Now, when you get in here with advanced knowledge, they can have you set different things like climbing altitudes. Okay? So, just watching a couple of tutorials.
Happy to work with you today. I'm your first officer, Jace Ray. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Okay, so looking at this thing, this is the master computer, and it looks basically the same in both models. The buttons are going to be a little bit different. All right, now in the INIT REF page, or it should be, I think.
Our cabin crew is ready for boarding.
That's good.
Awaiting your instructions.
Let's see here. under the if you press this button here, you move forward in the pages. So taking off from Colorado Springs, going to Salt Lake City, performance in it, right? So here's where you can set wind and one limits. Now this has to do with your climb rates, the speed that you're going down the runway. So I think this is the least aggressive, medium aggressive, and then aggressive takeoff. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that for a minute. Let's go to the takeoff page. All right, here's where you can set your flaps. I'm just going to put 10 in here. Now, these usually can self-populate sometimes. Sometimes you have to have a little bit more info before they populate, but normally the gist of it is you were supposed to be able to just press these and it would set your V1 speeds. And right now it's not doing it. Let me go to the legs in the route. Up here, you're supposed to be able to set in the speeds that you want the aircraft to do. And what's going to happen a lot on these flights, and I don't know if this is a bug, the rule is you're usually supposed to stay under 250 knots, under 10,000 feet. But for whatever reason now, it's saying you're supposed to stay under 250 knots, under like 100,000 feet. And you're going to constantly get dings to your performance and messages popping up and air traffic control saying, or your co-pilot over here saying, Captain, we should slow down under 100,000 feet. Well, again, the rule is supposed to be 10,000 feet. And why that's happening, I don't know, but it's happening a lot. So you either need to learn how to manually control your speed after takeoff and keep it under 250 knots, or again, try to set your deck up right so that you're under 250 on your climb. I'll just set it to 230. Okay, now in here, 230, you're supposed to do a / and then a B, right? 230 / B, and if you press the sidebar buttons, it's supposed to populate, and you hit execute. 230 / B on the next point, and that's supposed to tell the computer the proper speed. Then hit execute. Now let me go back to the INIT performance and go back to the climb, the V1s. Now they're not populating at all. Earlier it was working. I'm sorry, again, I don't have enough knowledge on the FMS to, with any confidence, walk you through in how to set that up properly here yet. I will watch videos, and if we were in an Airbus, it'd be a little bit easier for me to walk you through that. All right. Okay, so I've set it to 230 on our deck here. Now let me set this over here on our altitude. Let's just get it set up for 25. Now, I've noticed earlier when I tried doing this, even though I had set it in the EFB, let me go ahead and send it to air traffic control and avionics, and then send it to air traffic control again. Even though I had told them that I wanted to go to 25,000, they had put me at a different altitude. Then I had to use a request. That's another thing you can do that I forgot to mention. Okay? And that is, once you're up in the air, if they have put you at a really high altitude, just request that they drop you down to a lower altitude for cruise. Something that you're comfortable with. All right. So that's set. let me do a couple other things here. You're free to go if you want. If that's all you wanted to know is the workarounds, that's basically it. Is you can learn how to use your FMS to try to set speeds. You can augment your, modify your flight plan. In your EFB, you can change your cruise altitude. And with air traffic control, once you get in the air, you can request that they drop you to a lower altitude. So that's it. If you want to take off, hey, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please hit that like and subscribe. Please, please, please. I see that you folks check in on me and everybody comes in and checks it out, but then they don't hit the like button. But you stop in every day, but you don't hit the like button. Please, 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 if you took a minute to stop in, please hit that like button and help me out. All right, let me hit execute on this. I can get these to populate. No. Okay. Now some other things that I need to do and want to check is the to find out what kind of landing we're going to do. So we're going to do an ILS landing on runway 34. So what I want to do is I want to look at my chart for the ILS or localizer for 34, and I want to look at the course heading, which is 344 to the runway. And I want to plug that information into both course settings up here. So 344 over here, and then the co-pilot's deck, same thing. Okay, there's 344. Now, what I want to do is make sure that I've got the right frequency set for the ILS. Okay. And the localizer. So 109.5, and its name is ISLC. So let's come down to our navigation console. Okay, and right now it's set to 11050, and it's standby 11070. So we need to change it to 1095. All right, and put it into active. Now I'm looking to see if they have any VORs on the runway or near the runway that we might also want to plug in their data, their frequency. Frequency runway 16. I don't see one. This one out here, Fairfield 116.6. And then this one out here, 116.8. I don't see where that one is at, though. I see the box for it, but I don't actually see it on the... Unless they're saying that is it. It's a little bit different from the charts that I'm used to using. So if I did want to change the VOR mode, come down here. Let me go ahead and plug in 1166. And that'll be this VOR down here. Yeah, I think that is, it's pointing to that circle. Okay, now another bit of important information here that we want to look at is we want to look at our initial approach altitude, 9,000 feet. We need to be at 9,000 feet by the time we hit Hacker. And then we need to be at 6,100 feet for Cheville. And that is going to be our ILS point. So we should be on the localizer at Hacker, and then can hit approach at Cheville or any point in between, really. But we need to have the proper frequencies in so it can do that properly. Okay. I think that is about it. I'm going to go ahead and skip and get us moving along. Maybe. They're not going to let me skip. Go to clearance. That's funny. These screens aren't on. Co-pilot screens. I wonder how the avionics got turned off for those. And actually, I don't even know how to turn on the avionics for the co-pilot side. Interesting. We're going to request our IFR clearance.
Colorado Springs clearance delivery. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er ready to copy IFR clearance to Salt Lake.
Now,
Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er is cleared to Salt Lake Airport via the Charlie Oscar Sierra 6 departure, runway 17 left. Climb via SID maintain flight level 260. Departure frequency is 128.375, squawk 0152.
Okay. So they're telling us to go to 26. When we get up there, we'll ask for, again, they've said us that what I've sent them is I want 25. They told me we're going to be doing 26. We can get to 26 and then tell them to come down 1,000.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er, did you copy?
I did.
Cleared to Salt Lake via the Charlie Oscar Sierra 6 departure, runway 17 left. Climb by SID maintain flight level 260. Departure frequency is 128.375, squawk 0152. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.7. Good day.
Colorado Springs ground. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er with India, ready to taxi IFR.
We had some beautiful...
Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Taxi to and hold short of runway 17 left using taxiway.
Some beautiful cold weather moving the other day. And these mountains were all encased in clouds. Looked like the Misty Mountains from Tolkien.
17 left using taxiway. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er.
There's Pikes Peak out there. Not giving me permission to skip the taxi and just go right to it. Man, it's doing everything I don't want it to do today. I didn't want to do the taxi. I just wanted to move it along.
Colorado Springs ground. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er requesting pushback.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Pushback request accepted.
All right, maybe they'll do it now. Maybe, maybe not. We're in an Aero Mexico. Hey, good evening. You're back after 2 stressful weeks.
Captain.
Sadly, I'll go to bed soon since today wasn't less stressful. Good luck. I hope everything works out for you. Have a great day. Thank you, Henning.
You're clear to start engines. Pushback is complete.
All right. Skydude.
Colorado Springs ground. Kin Lima Alpha
Kin
Oscar
Lima Alpha Oscar
839er with
839er.
India.
Taxi
Ready to
to and
taxi.
hold short of runway
IFR.
17 left. Contact tower on 119er.9er when ready.
Taxiing, hold short runway 17 left. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
Let's get out of here. We just had the option to skip it. Now they took it away again. Murphy. Dang you, Murphy. They took away our taxi too. The hold short is out there, 17 left. It's an interesting place they started us. Usually it's from the main. There we go. Hold skip to take off. Good.
Colorado Springs Tower. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er at runway 17 left ready for departure. IFR to Salt Lake.
Okay, auto throttle on. Are we in a, we're in a reverse thrust? What the hell?
Altimeter 299er2. Cleared for takeoff, runway 17 left.
Unbelievable. All right, auto throttle on. Now, with the Boeing, it's a bit different, the way that the autopilot works here. They have different controls.
Alpha Oscar 839er. Acknowledge last transmission.
One thing that doesn't change, air traffic controller always in your ass, bothering you when you're trying to do things. I know there's a reason for it, but Lord. Okay, so I'm going to turn the LNAV on. I'm not going to turn on VNAV. I'm going to set it to a flight level change. A lot of really strange things. To me, they're strange because it works really different from an Airbus in the 737, right? You have an N1, which is a climb speed, which should be reading, once we turn on the autopilot, should be reading from the instructions that we put in here at 230 knots. Okay? It sometimes, when I turn on VNAV, that doesn't seem to work. And all of a sudden we're overspeeding. So I have to turn off VNAV, and if I put on flight level change, that cancels VNAV. And then if I have to set my speed, sometimes it changes speed. So a lot of weird crap is going to go on once we get up off the ground. Just let's try to figure it out together. That'll go away once I stop, once I turn off the brakes. I don't want the engines to spool up. There we go. Inform the passengers, yada, yada, yada.
Prepare for takeoff. Please ensure your seat belt is fastened tightly. Your seat is in the upright position and your tray table is securely stored. Thank you.
There's 111 knots. The co-pilot sometimes calls out for the rotation, sometimes he doesn't. Usually it's about 140. There's 140. So that's...
rotate.
There we go. There's our V1 rotate. Get the gear up. All right. Now, I'm set to 25,000.
Lima Alpha Oscar 8, Tree Niner, contact Denver Center on 128.3.
Keep my flaps up.
Good day.
You go ahead and put it into autopilot. Make sure LNAV is on. A level change. What's going on? Okay. It's like we didn't get the flaps down fast enough.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8, Tree Niner.
Oh my God! Air traffic control.
Transmission.
Oh,
128.375. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner.
all right, that was probably again from a flaps thing. So 194. Let's see what it does regarding speed. I've got it set in here for 200. My N1 in the FMC was set to 230. Okay, so it's holding at 200 here. Now with regards to our flight plan, looks like we're starting off with the vectors out, and we want to get to P-play. So we can keep following our vectors out for a little bit, but ultimately we want to take P-play and move it up to vectors and replace it and hit execute. There we go. So now we're heading towards our first waypoint. It's still holding 200 knots. So N1 says that we are in climb speed. We're at level change, and we're holding at 200. See now if I raise this up to 230. I need definitely to watch a couple of more. I've been trying to find pilots that are showing the takeoff, the whole procedure, but they don't really explain some of the problems I've been having with regards to your auto throttle, and really they don't just concentrate on speed, or they've been glossing over it. And what happens when you press this? It drops it out of VNAV. What happens when you have VNAV on? $223, $224. So yeah, just for grins and giggles, let me put VNAV on and see what it does. Okay, so VNAV still climbing in speed, 229, 230. See, now using VNAV, it's doing what it wants to do. Now it's going above 230. There's 234. So if I leave it in VNAV, I know from doing several flights, it's going to go above the 250 mark, and we're going to get yelled at. There's 242. Let me put it back to flight level change. It changed the speed to 244 where it was at the moment. Drop it back to 240. See if it'll go back to what I want. It's trying to. You can try to control your speed also using vertical speed. Let's see what that does. So if we go to vertical speed, it turns off. We're still in, it looks like manual speed mode. Plus 3,200 feet per minute. That'll definitely expedite us. And that, you can control your airspeed a little bit by doing an aggressive climb like that. All right, so I said they want us to 26,000. I'm going to ask for
Denver Center, Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er is at flight level 185, climbing flight level 260.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, Denver Center. Radar contact. Continue.
all right, decrease. Again, whatever they've set you at, and as long as you know that you're clear, you're not going to run into any mountains. Again, you can request an altitude decrease. I just want to do 1,000 feet.
Denver Center, Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Request flight level 250.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Climb and maintain flight level 250.
Right.
Climb and maintain flight level 250. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
I am learning these Boeings, and I will be better and better as we go. I will spend a lot more time with the MCD, the FMS in the Boeing. It's a goal to learn how to use all the computers in these airliners, no matter what type or brand. But I've done so much Airbus flying, and I think I understand the MCDU over in the Airbus much, much better.
Good morning, ladies and gents. This is your captain speaking. Today, I'm assisted by co-pilot Chase Ray. Welcome aboard flight LAO 839. Inbound to Salt Lake City. We are currently cruising at an altitude of 15,500 feet and at an airspeed of 150 knots. It's 10:35 a.m.
We're a lot higher than that.
A comfortable flight in
Dude.
spite of some mild turbulence. On behalf of all crew members, we thank you for flying with us today. So, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight.
Please, yeah, I do. And you're always the VIP on these flights, so please ignore the no smoking. If you want to smoke, you go right ahead.
To all passengers, we've reached cruising altitude and will be turning down the cabin lights for your comfort. If you need additional reading light, just push the button above your...
All right, let's see what we're doing. Okay, so now it's speeding up on us. 226, 227. I've got a max of 240 set in there, but we'll see what it does. Because now we've reached it. It's out of vertical speed mode. $239. Okay. 240, hold right there, baby. Okay, so it's holding. And it's switched out of climb and one into speed. Now, I don't... This is a short flight, and I don't want to go ahead and skip the descent. You can... But the way the simulator currently is, it doesn't seem to set everything up properly for you, and you can find yourself in a bad position. I'd rather just let it go. If it was a 3-hour flight, I'd say, yeah, let's just go ahead and skip. Let me show you what bad things can happen to you. Like I said, if you aren't down to a low enough altitude when they skip you, and if you skip your descent, that starts the madness right there. If you haven't gone in and tried to get yourself pre-set up to be at a lower altitude before you skip to your descent, thus begins descents into madness. You know, you can find yourself in a position where you're really high still and need to come down. The last thing I found out that what you don't want to do, and they will really ding you heavily, is use your speed brake at higher altitudes coming down aggressively. So the way they rate you is, you know, how smooth was the flight, how you handled the aircraft.
Oscar 8 tree 9er contact Denver Center on 11.9.85. Good day.
I used that speed brake and they took away all my points for airplane operations.
119.85.
And it was making a horrible noise.
Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er. Denver Center, Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er. Flight level 250.
Let's zoom out a little bit and look at our flight plan.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, Denver Center, radar contact. Continue to PPLAY.
You look for any other discontinuities up to their page. There's a discontinuity, so let's take LG, put it there, execute. Good. You will also discover that in these Boeings, once you get to your from your cruise to your descent, sometimes they're broken. The approach is an entirely different sequence, and you've got to make sure that once you finish your cruise or whatever, your descent, that you initiate the approach. So be aware of that. Sometimes as you're going through your stuff, if you're not paying attention, all of a sudden you hit a certain waypoint and you just keep going and you've missed your marks. This is actually a very lovely flight going from here to Salt Lake City. The mountains are really pretty. As you see, we've got a lot of snow in Colorado at the moment. So it makes for a real pretty sightseeing flight. There's a lot of things that I would like to learn how to do in this aircraft. One, when you start out with small planes, if you start learning traditionally navigation, you know, you do a lot of VOR to VOR flying. And I know with airliners, you know, that's not the way that they're actually meant to be flied usually. But it's nice to learn how to be able to do all that. In the Airbus, I already know how to do it, and I know how to follow VORs and update and change flight plans as you go. But not so much with these Boeings. So it looks like we're good. Holding 240, and we're good. Good. And we didn't get any dings for overspeed. Love it. That looks like Buena Vista down there, Twin Lakes. In the summer, I like doing a lot of highlighting different great places to camp and fish. in Colorado. And I'm going to be doing some of that when things start warming up again. And I've heard Parallel 42, that's the right name of the company, they've released a fishing add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm not kidding. I've been asking for that for a long time. I wanted Microsoft to do it. I wanted Microsoft to bring back fishing and golf. Microsoft Golf. We used to always get a new Microsoft Golf every time they released a new operating system, like from 95 up, get a new version of Microsoft Golf or something neat. And then they just stopped making it. And one of my early suggestions was, hey, remake Microsoft Golf. All the airports in the simulator, all the golf courses in the simulator are highly modeled. And it would give us something to do once we've landed, and something we could do as a multiplayer activity. So if you own Microsoft Golf, you can tie it into Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, they chose not to jump on that, and Parallel 42 did. And so when I have a few extra ducats to spare, or if you'd like to help me out, hit that super chat and donate a little bit of ducats. I'd be happy to start saving that up to pick up that fishing add-on. And I've already got the camping add-on, so now it's going to be fantastic. I love the camping add-on. It's great. And they were really cool about it. They were going to release a brand new version, which they still might for 2024, and they said anybody who owns the existing one, we'll just charge you a very small fee to get the upgrade. And for whatever reason, I think they just threw that out the window and they said, whatever, we'll just make it work for 2024 and don't charge them, just give it to them for free. So they have, and thank you very much. If you have any questions about what I talked about at the start, or any questions at all, I'll try to be happy to answer them. Again, going over what I talked about at the start, one of the workarounds is when you set up a flight plan, immediately check the cruise altitude that they've set you up at. Sometimes you'll find that they're outrageous. 41,000 feet, 36,000 feet. And unless you know for a fact that, you don't have mountains to go over, or again, use something like SKYVECTOR to check your route, check the highest altitude that you're going to reach. Set this to something way more reasonable for your cruise altitude. Also, sometimes they...
Alpha Oscar 839er, contact Denver Center on 134.5. Good day.
Okay.
Tree 4.5 for Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
On certain approaches,
This is Adrienne.
Ken Lima Alpha
We're
Oscar
ready for in-flight
839er.
service.
Flight level 250.
Mind if we start?
no.
Ken Lima Alpha.
Permission granted. Our in-flight meal today will be grilled sandwich and vegetable crudite, served warm and family style. Hope you'll enjoy.
Okay. So another thing that you might find is that the approach sometimes will be, they won't set you up with a long enough approach. And you might want to come in here and change your approach. In this case, we're doing a direct. So right now, let's say if I went with something like Jazz, which I know should work. That just adds a few more waypoints in, which gives you an opportunity to slow down and come down. So let me change the procedure to Jazz. and send that to air traffic control. And
Lima Alpha Oscar
send it to avionics.
Climb and maintain flight level 260.
Again, I don't know why they want me to go up 260. I'll accept it though.
Climb and maintain flight level 260. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
So if they set you up with a direct route and you need a little bit more time, you can add in a longer approach, give you a few more waypoints in the approach, or you can come down here and add in more waypoints. You can click an existing waypoint on your map, or existing, well, you can click anywhere really, or existing VORs. I'll try to add one of these in, add to flight plan as a waypoint. Sure, I didn't check. Go P-play, APUC. Okay, so I added these spots in here earlier. APUC
Alpha Oscar 839
and KSPK.
Your climb flight level 260.
All right. But the people are eating. I don't want them. Now you're forcing me to do a flight level change while we're cruising and we're getting ready to serve food. Let's just do a vertical hold and just do like 100 feet per minute. Something really slow. But they want me to expedite. They can. I don't really care. The last thing I want to do is, if you could actually, if it was real inside the cabin there, is all of a sudden, you know, do a flight level change.
Alpha Oscar 839er, please expedite your climb flight level 260.
Their food trays will be flying down towards the back. There's nothing that high around us. But again, it could be other planes coming in. You never know. You just got to roll with what air traffic control says. Go up to maybe even 500 feet seems too steep. 300.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, please expedite your climb flight level 260.
Damn you. Damn you, damn you. It added vectors in. So now it's going to jostle the plane around while they're trying to serve lunch back there. Why it did that, I don't really know. I added in the... And then it's got a discontinuity again. From KSPK to Jazz. But why it added in a vector all of a sudden when we were headed to P-play, it put a vector in there. So I had to move P-play back up. And I can't explain that one. I didn't change anything. There's that discontinuity before Jazz. So I expect because of just what happened right there, they're going to take some points away from our score for smoothness. I don't know if somebody was, it's hard to tell sometimes to read into what people type on social media and understand, are they mocking, or are they being sincere, but when you're dealing with somebody who's known to be, more of a mocker, and then they say something that seems sincere, you don't know really how to take it. But somebody posted to me earlier on X, they're like, well, if we're ever on the same flight and the pilots become incapacitated, let me just read it. Should we ever be on the same flight and the pilots become incapacitated, I will take comfort knowing the level of flight simulator experience you possess. I want to take that at face value. I don't think any of my immediate best friends would actually even say that. I think I've learned quite a lot over the years, more than a decade. If it's just me on a cargo flight and there aren't people involved, I think I'd be okay. If I take myself out, then I take myself out. Not a big deal. I really don't want to be responsible for anybody else's life. I would hate for that actually ever to happen. I think that they probably have remote control at this point, that they wouldn't have to say, do we have any flight simulator people on board? Kennius, we need you in the cockpit. I would do my best. I would be way more confident in an Airbus and anything smaller. Small jets. Or general aviation. You're out with somebody flying a Cessna around, and all of a sudden, they have a medical condition, and you have no choice but to try to land a small plane. I think I would do okay. Some people mock flight simulator. They're like, you're not a real pilot. I know that. I know. We simulator pilots, we know we're not real pilots. But when you talk to the FAA or read FAA reports, what do they say? What does the FAA say on simulation? And AOPA and other flight people. That most problems that happen these days is not enough real-world pilots spend enough time in simulators, and that they're always trained for best case scenario. Some emergency procedures, but they don't spend enough time in the simulator to where everything starts becoming second nature. So I think some of these simulator pilots like myself, you know, again, it's goofy to think that we would ever be in a position to have to do it, but we try. We try to do everything right. And I know that learning how to fly in the small planes, working my way up to stuff like this, man, I have made every mistake possible. And thank God it's a simulator. I've killed myself hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, especially wanting to learn, living here in Colorado and wanting to learn how to be competent flying around the mountains, which is another challenge unto itself. You need a special license just for mountain flying. I have died flying over these mountains so many times because I like, you know, again, I started out with this, you know, the Cessna Skyhawk. So trying to fly a Skyhawk from Colorado Springs up into these mountains and around and navigating Colorado a lot, I've gotten myself into horrible, horrible situations.
Lima Alpha Oscar 839er contact Denver Center on 125.675. Good day.
So it's been an interesting day out there on X.
675 for Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
In the eVTOL and VTOL community.
Denver Center, Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, flight level 260.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, Denver Center, radar contact continue to 40 and 10. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er contact Denver Center on 1 tree 4.5. Good day.
1 tree 4.5. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Denver Center, Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, flight level 260.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, Denver Center, radar contact, continue to 40 and 10.
So Archer, I want to say that they've achieved the new certification or something that just says that they're airworthy and they're airworthy to fly. I don't know if it's a major, I don't believe it's a major certification, but it's another step in their advancement. I would have to go back and find the articles for it. See here. Archer is keeping up the momentum with great news. Yesterday, an airworthiness certificate for N704AX, and today they've announced Bristol as their choice for Archer's UK engineering hub. So I guess there's, again, their airworthiness certificate allows them to fly. And that's still a major milestone. A lot of people are down on him, and you know, I don't want to be of I'm in the Joby camp or I'm in the Archer camp, and you know, raw team, and I love them both. I love anybody who's working on eVTOL, JVTOL, hybrid VTOL. I love the simplicity and the computerized controls. I like how safe they are. And so I'm rooting for everybody. I'm rooting for Archer. I'm rooting for Joby. I'm rooting for Beta. EHang, even though they're Chinese. Who cares? Honda. Hover. It doesn't matter. They're all, it's so exciting. It's so dang exciting where we're at in aviation. As I struggled and struggled for years just learning how to fly, I've always been questioning, why isn't it more simple at this point? We've been at this over 100 years. How come there isn't major advancements in aviation to make things simpler and more safe? More simple and more safe. And then all of a sudden, you know, the Archer and the Joby come out, and I start messing around with those, and I'm like, finally. I know it's an entirely different type of aircraft, but they've added in simple and safe. And it's beautiful. And now I can't wait to see a big evolution in the aircrafts that we grew up with, that we love. Like, I would love to see Cessna now start venturing into whether they change and go to eVTOL or VTOLs, or whether they just take these ideas that have been coming from that sector and try to work them into existing general aviation aircraft. Things as simple as, you know, a button that you can push or something you can switch for just regulating your taxi speed. Maybe assisted rudders for takeoff and landing because of that torque issue. Anyway, it's great to see them adopting heavily computerized aircraft, and eventually I expect it to work its way up into the airliners. These aren't ultimately too complex, but from where they've started, you know, it's become much easier. But even this stuff with AI and computer advancements, AI integration is going to be incredible. Some people say for better or for worse. Why not? The idea that the AI can handle everything for you if something goes wrong. That we've reached that level of compute power that AI can enter into the cockpit is pretty phenomenal. Okay, so here is where I set my first additional waypoint in the flight plan at KPUC over to KSPK, and I want to see if they'll let me come down. I think the highest thing we saw on our map going out was 14.9. Let's see if they'll let us do 19. 4, 3, 1, 19. That'd be 7.
Denver Center, Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Request flight level 190.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Descend and maintain flight level 190.
You know if it's turn off? They weren't on?
Descend and maintain flight level 190. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
Flight level change. Nice and easy. Now, hopefully they don't, as I start easing myself down for the approach, that they don't now do something stupid and take me back up to 26. I mean, thank you to all the people that are working in changing aviation. You are making history. So the heated discussion today is you've got people saying that, you know, Archer's a fraud. It's all a fraud. And I just don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I believe in Archer. Like Joby's already blah blah blah. That's good for them. Good for them. They're awesome. The Joby is great. I love flying the S4. But to say that Archer's a fraud, then that hurts a little bit. I've never been an investor until now because I believe in it.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er contact Salt Lake Center on 125.575. Good day.
Going to 125.575. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
Here's something from eVTOL Buzz. The Cavorite X7 is designed for dual use. Secure domestic supply chains, advanced manufacturing and leadership from Brandon Robinson, Dr. John Maris, and Jamil Janjwa, who have flown aircraft wearing the Canadian flag as pilots in the RCAF, make Horizon aircraft a loyal partner. Canada just reinforced aerospace as a sovereign priority. The new defense industrial strategy is a major signal for Canadian aerospace, strengthening domestic capability, supply chains, and advanced manufacturing with significant procurement planned over the next decade. With readiness targets like 85% air asset serviceability, the focus is shifting towards platform and technologies that are reliable, scalable, and built for real-world operations. Our hybrid eVTOL is designed with this mission in mind. We support Canada's clear commitment to building an enduring defense strategy. The Cavorite model is really neat. It's an in-wing design, meaning that the propellers, the vertical takeoff and landing propellers, are built into the wing. And so it doesn't look much different than a normal aircraft. And it looks like in the case of an emergency, like if you had to glide the thing down, it looks like it's totally capable of handling a glide. And that's something definitely, I don't think the Joby can do that. I think the Joby would need, in a horrible emergency, it will need a parachute system. The Archer, I've heard that they have been working on modifying the design to be more glide friendly in case of a catastrophic emergency. Right now in the simulator, you cannot. It's got no glide. Either, same thing with the Joby. If you are silly enough to forget, and you get so excited about how wonderful a time you're having, you forget about your battery, how much power you have. It doesn't have a whole lot of safety features as far as that's concerned to keep beeping at you and telling you, hey, you're running low on the battery. I expect all that'll be taken care of. That with the AI they're putting into it, there's going to be plenty of safety features to let you know when you're at 50% battery or lower. Especially with the NVIDIA IGX Thor AI. And that's one of the AIs that you can talk to. It's a conversational AI.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, flight level 190.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, Salt Lake Center. Radar contact continue.
Dylan from Hustle Brothers says the market is wild. As of today, Archer closed less % down for the year than AMD, but that could reverse tomorrow, and we could look and see lots of high beta numbers that have been sold November compared to early February this year. Going back to other models that don't look like they have, any sort of glide capability. The EHang, again, the Chinese version looks like it's got no hover. The Honda variant does not look like it has any sort of hover. Glide capability. Sorry, I mean glide. If they could strengthen that Archer, any of the Archer aircraft to be more glide worthy, that would be fantastic. I don't know if this headline is true or not. It says Buc-ee's. I don't know what they are. A truck stop or a convenience store or tourist attractions, or I'm not sure what the hell Buc-ee's is. But they're saying Buc-ee's is now offering 1940s style Sears home kits. Did you ever see those ads where you could buy an entire home from Sears? They had several different models that you could buy, and they would literally ship all the products you need to build your own home right to your lot. And they used to be, well, back in the day, I think they were as cheap as like $3,000 back then, $7,000. Let me try to see if I can find one of those old ads. Yeah, a three-story home from Sears, $2,287, $627 for the more log cabin looking version. Let's see if I can find another one here. $1,924, two-story. Who knows if it had a basement? It's called the Americas. was a home that you could buy to have all the components shipped out here. It was $1,924. The Hamilton, one-story home. No, it's got, looks like it does have some rooms upstairs. $2,059. The Crescent, it's hard to read the price on that. $2,116. The one-story home. The Volania, the Valonia, $2,071, $2,417 for, looks like more rooms. It's hard to zoom in on these and get a really read the fine print on these, how many rooms. First floor, second floor, and then options for
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er contact Salt Lake Center on 1 tree decimal 9er.
It looks like 6 rooms.
1 tree decimal 9er. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er.
Here's one. I don't know what year this was.
Center. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er. Flight level 190.
A Sears low-cost housing as low as $50.86. 2 floor plans. This is a 3-story looking Tudor one, $2,287. And again, one as low as $627. The Holly Springs model, that one looks huge. $1,432. Sears Roebuck and Company. So it looks like, again, the headline is that Bucky is doing it, but now $39,000, $39,999, and that only looks like 2-story. Can't exactly see how many rooms this is. Dining room, kitchen, living room, reception hall, porch, bedroom, 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 bedroom. So 4 bedrooms upstairs, a balcony, no rooms downstairs. Kitchen, pantry, porch. Homes have got to become more affordable. Everything needs to become more affordable. eVTOL Hub, N704, AAX Airworthiness, and Archer UK News. That looks like Lake Tahoe got smoked with snow. Looks like somebody, I can't tell if they're coming out of their house or what, but looks like 8-foot, 10-foot tall snowdrifts. Yeah, they're coming out of a house. Man, Lake Tahoe. 10-foot snowdrifts. We used to get that kind of snow around here in Colorado, and Okay, here's some interesting news for Joby. From Let's Talk Joby at TB_Travis. Joby getting funding for hypersonic tech from the Pentagon. Only if you have been digging into Joby patents would you know. Most people aren't even close to being bullish enough. Pentagon pours $68 million into hypersonic technology. What is that? The HVTOL, hypersonic VTOL. We'll get you there in 6 minutes. And it'll all be controlled by NVIDIA. Just tell it where you want to go. LA to New York in 6 minutes. The jet eVTOLs, I have heard there are people making them. They have not made any recent news, and I don't know if any of the companies are public yet. They're all still private. But jet VTOL, electric jet VTOL, and I'm assuming hybrids. Man, that's going to be so fantastic. I wonder when the airlines are going to consider it. When one of these can become VTOL. When the airliners start jumping in, that's going to be fantastic. Because even as safe as these things are, you know, crosswinds and landings can be still, death dice rolls. Takeoffs and landings can be, just the landings probably more so. But every time you take off and land, you're always rolling a death dice. You might have great saving throws, and your experience is, you have like 1% chance of having a failure. You're with that much experience, but it can still happen. So reducing the chances of the percentage of a landing disaster on an airliner also in general, just airliners being able to have vertical takeoff and landing capability.
39er contact Salt Lake Center on 119.905. Good day.
Being able to try to come down if you had to in a controlled way.
119.905 for Ken Lima Alpha Oscar.
All right, where are we?
Salt Lake Center, Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, flight level 190.
All right, so we're approaching. We need to be at 12,000.
Salt Lake Center radar contact. Continue.
So we need to come down to about 12,000 feet after this mountain here. I don't know if I want to do 12 here. Let's go for 14. 15.
Salt Lake Center, Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Request 15,000.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, descend and maintain 15,000.
So the whole point of this flight is mostly
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, please acknowledge.
Is making sure that you're in control of your descent.
15,000. Ken Lima Alpha.
And don't leave it up to air traffic control and wait for them to give you a descent. See, right now, I even think that we're still too high. That I should have set another point. Because we still have to come down pretty much now. Because
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway tree 4 right approach via JZZZ transition. Clear to JZZZ.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway tree 4 right approach via JZZ transition. Clear to JZZ. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Descend and maintain 16,000. Keep speed not above 230 knots.
see, now they want me to go up, and I don't want to go up. I need to be down to 12,000 for Jazz.
Speed not above 230 knots. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
And now I'm not getting an option to come down. You sons of gun. There's 16. Do an altitude hold. All these. Now they're not giving us any option to descend, to request a lower altitude. This is making me mad. Because the runway is like 5,000. Alright, so what do I do here? Either I add another point in or I just change. I just change what's set up. I don't even see it. It's like it doesn't. Where's my damn flight plan? Okay. Okay, so but they won't let me descend. So what do I do? Don't like it. So 12,000 at Jazz, 11,000 at Flag, 10,000 at Algae, 9,000 at Haker, 6,100 at Cheville, and then 4,280 feet at Runway. Yeah, so 16 at Jazz is wrong. Son of... I'm gonna come down to 12. I don't care what they say. And I'm gonna expedite this. I'm gonna put on the fasten your seatbelts. We're coming down. They can yell at me all they want. They've got it wrong, not me.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er contact Salt Lake approach on 135.5. Good day.
So again, watch your charts.
1 tree 5.5.
And now I'm speeding too much.
Oscar 8 tree 9er. Salt Lake approach.
Shoot.
Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er is passing 14,700.
See, descent into madness. There we go again. Now I'm over 250
Ken Lima Alpha
knots
Tree 9
in the descent.
Salt Lake approach. Altimeter 2992. Radar contact. Continue to plage.
So this still didn't work out as I wanted it to. Only by setting it to level change is it coming back down. But again, I don't think it's going to descend us fast enough. 11,000. Really just need to come all the way down to 6.1. That's so frustrating, because now just having flight level change handle it down, it's just going so slow.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er. Contact Salt Lake Tower on 1 tree 2.65 when inbound.
Tower on 1 tree 2.65. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er.
You need to run down.
Salt Lake Tower, Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er, 20 miles south. Inbound ILS runway tree 4 right approach.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er, Salt Lake Tower, altimeter 2992. Cleared ILS runway tree 4 right approach.
Careful, Captain. Flaps overspeed.
Yikes. So, pardon me.
Right approach.
So,
Alpha Oscar 8 tree 9er.
They're not directing me down. I have to trust my own gut to come down right. Then I have to use vertical speed to try to control it to standard 250. Yeah, and we're not going to make, I don't think we're going to make 6,000 to hit ILS. Go over to ILS. $9,000 feet. Using vertical speed to do negative 2,800 feet. 3.2. There, now our glide slope is coming up. All right. Right. We want 6.1. All right, so if you're an advanced airline pilot and you've watched this, watched me, what I'm doing. You know, what could I have done better? What can I do? Go ahead and put.
Careful, Captain. Flaps overspeed.
Really? This close?
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Windcom. Clear to land runway tree 4 right.
There's way too much crap going on when you're trying to land.
Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er.
Approach is on. Now it says we're high. Shouldn't be. 6-1 was the point we were supposed to be at. Unbelievable. And now it's not handling it. The ILS frequency should be right. We checked that early on. Uh, 1095. Lord Almighty. 1095. VOR lock, but it didn't take. We were way above it. Oh my goodness. That's the way it's been though. It's just I can't seem to just get one to be by the book. We've overflown the runway. You look down here at Shovel, we were supposed to be at 6,100 feet. And I was. $9,000 feet at Haker, 6,100 at Shovel. So now I have to do missed approach. Pain in the ass.
Salt Lake Tower. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er is going missed.
So now we are supposed to.
Oscar 8 Tree 9er contact Salt Lake approach on 1 tree 5.5. Good day.
Too hard to read that. So now we're supposed to go to TCH, radial 331 to OGD, climb 9,000.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Acknowledge last transmission.
Oh, do shut up. This is so frustrating.
Tree 5.5 for Kin Lima Alpha Oscar.
Okay, so go to
9er.
TCH, which we're doing. LNAV, TCH. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. It's always something. I should have listened to my gut and came down earlier, but we had those mountains to hop over right there before we hit Jazz. Sense into madness. Okay, heading to TCH, then we hold at OGD.
Salt Lake
Publish it.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Flying to Salt Lake, ILS runway tree 4. Right published missed approach.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er Roger. Fly published missed approach. Advise reaching 9,000 for further instructions.
enough speed. $190. Now we have to do a vertical speed climb. Welcome to Salt Lake. Open my camera. Now my drone camera went out. Really? No. Yeah. My drone camera is not responding. What is up with you, bro? The hell's the plane doing?
We've got unhappy passengers thanks to the bumpy.
What is going on? Oh no, you know what? It has the wrong input set under my controls. Well, that's something we didn't check. That is set to the Huey controls, and this is set to 737 Max. So it was either set wrong to begin with or it changed. Because we've been using the external drone camera throughout the whole flight, and now my drone wasn't working. Every time I was pressing a button to move my drone camera around, it was causing the airplane to move, and it threw us off course. So now I gotta see if I can get back into the...
We've got some passengers experiencing motion sickness. They're getting really upset.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. All right. And
Disturb you again.
Ken Lima,
We
Alpha,
have a few
Oscar,
passengers who are
83,
feeling
Niner
physically
contact Salt
uncomfortable.
Lake.
and we're climbing, and we're
75. Good day.
damaging the flaps, and we almost lost complete and total control of the aircraft. And now we're diving and it's not responding. Oh my lord.
Ken Lima,
Wow.
Oscar 839er, please acknowledge.
You got to give me a minute. This plane is all over the place. All right. If I continue this, one, I should just finish it to finish it. But what it's going to do now, because of these errors, now it's going to just destroy my reputation.
Ken Lima, Alpha, Oscar 839er. Did you hear my last transmission?
And then I missed transmissions because of all this crap.
135.775 for Ken Lima.
And now it's underspeeding. It's not following the speed. We're going under. We're going to get flap warnings. Wow, what is going on? The autopilot disengaged. Holy crap, man. Now we're going too fast. telling it to do 150. Now it's coming down. There's flight level change back to 9. Holy crap. So even with the best laid plans, trying to do this thing right, setting the all those things that we did at the start, changing the flight plan to give us more time to come down, to slow down, changing our cruise level so we didn't have to descend even in a more hurried way. If we didn't change any of that stuff, they would have had to just come down from, what were we at, 26,000 feet instead of 19? We would have never made it.
Salt Lake approach. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner is passing 7,200, climbing 9,000.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner, Salt Lake approach. Altimeter 2992, radar contact continue.
Salt Lake approach. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar.
Let's cancel the IFR and just try to set up another landing at Salt Lake.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner. IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Good day.
Man, they have a lot of little airports around here. Trying to find KSLC.
Approach. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner, 7 miles southwest of Kilo 8 Quebec India X-ray, 7700. Request IFR to Salt Lake. Ready to copy.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner is cleared to Salt Lake Airport as filed.
So what do you do here? Do you refile the whole thing? Let's step back up your flight plan. Okay, so let's go back out to, we would want to go back out to Jazz.
Approach. Didn't copy. Please say again for Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner is cleared to Salt Lake Airport as filed. Squawk 0152.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner clear to Salt Lake Airport is filed. Squawk 0152.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner, read back correct. Radar contact 7800. Altimeter 2992, turn left heading tree 5. Proceed on course. Climb and maintain flight level 260.
Yeah, out 26,000 again. I don't want to do that. Okay. Turn left heading.
Turn left heading tree 5.
335.
Climb and maintain flight level 260. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner.
Heading 335. 26,000.
Salt Lake approach on 135.5. Good day. Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner, acknowledge last transmission.
Going to 135.5. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree Niner. Salt Lake approach. Kin Lima Oscar 839er is at 8,100 climbing flight level 260.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, Salt Lake approach, altimeter 2992, radar contact continue. Alpha Oscar 839er, please expedite your climb flight level 260. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, contact Salt Lake Center on 1.5.775. Good day.
We still lost our external camera. It's not responding properly. Our drone cam.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er. Did you copy?
1.5.775 for Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
Lovely.
Salt Lake Center, Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er is at 11,000 climbing flight level 260.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, Salt Lake Center, altimeter 2992, radar contact continue.
So, another descent into madness. As much as I tried this time to get it right, it still went absolutely wrong. And now, because of all the things that have happened, it's going to destroy my score and my reputation. So I can cheat because it's a simulator and I can restart the thing and try to now skip everything and go right to the descent and try to set up for a better approach, or continue riding this one out and eat it. And I'm not really happy about that. But, all I could think to do, if I do decide to do that here in the next minute or two, is look at the flight plan and see if there was a way to bring us in after this damn mountain range. This is what really kind of threw me off. We had to maintain at least 12,000 feet until we got over that mountain, and then come down really fast. And there was no way before Jazz to get down to the needed altitude. But if we deviated over here somewhere, like KU, somewhere in here, and allowed ourselves to be at a lower altitude all the way into the approach. Again, folks, I don't understand what the problem is with them setting up with flight plans in career mode that work against you, and why they've been descending you, why they are descending us at the very last minute, even when you set everything in the MCDU or change this, change that. So it's going to do the same thing. It's going to destroy your reputation. You're going to have to struggle with missed approaches. And all I can suggest is either take it in the rear end, just chalk it up as, well, that's some more experience, or go to the main menu and restart the damn thing. And then once you hit climb, skip everything and go right to approach. Let's see what happens. Man, I'm not happy about this at all. All right, let's see what happens. Let's get in there. Let's get into the...
Hi, Captain.
Oh, shut up.
I'm your first officer, Jace Ray. Nice to meet you.
I don't even care. All right. So what would be the proper way to do this then? Possibly to divert all the way out here to KBCE. And that way we have more of a straight shot in after that mountain range.
Captain, our cabin crew is ready for boarding. Awaiting your instructions.
Something like that. And that gives us plenty of time. Come down. Huh. All right, what did they initially set us up for? 41,000 feet. Let's change this back to 26. Skip the taxi, skip the takeoff. See how fast we can do this. And it put us in reverse thrust.
Lima Alpha Oscar 839 ready for departure. Runway 17 left. IFR to Salt Lake.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, altimeter 299er2. Cleared for takeoff, runway 17 left.
Clear for takeoff, runway 17 left. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
And that back up to 230.
Ladies and gents, prepare for takeoff. Please ensure your seatbelt is fastened tightly. Your seat is in the upright position and your tray table is securely stored. Thank you.
Set this to 26. Let's go look at the MCDU again. Cruise altitude 26. Flaps are at 5%. Got no V's. U34/B. Take the vectors out. Take the discontinuity out. ABCE. And try it again. % trim. Easy. What are you taking off for? What are you doing? Easy. Wants to go. Go back down. Too much trim.
V1 rotate.
Okay. You're up.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er contact Denver Center on 128.375. Good day.
.375 for Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Denver Center, Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er is passing 7,400, descending 2,600.
Descending 2,600?
Kin Lima
No, we're
Alpha
climbing.
Oscar 8 Tree 9er, Denver Center, altimeter 2992, radar contact. Continue. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er, climb and maintain 12,000.
Oh, now it's 12. Whatever you want.
Maintain 12,000. Kin Lima Alpha
Okay.
Oscar 8 Tree 9er.
Hell no. Autopilot. Light level change. And take it? You can do it? They're set to P-play. I miss the old navlog because you could skip to different points in the flight plan, and I'm really missing that right now because I really just want to go to KBCE. But I have a feeling they might dump me if I hit skip to descent now. Where are they going to dump me? Let's find out. Look at that crap.
900.
They dumped us off at 4,500 feet. Can't tell where we're at. We're gonna crash. They dumped us off at 4,500 feet at Jazz. Unbelievable. It's supposed to be 6-1. We're in approach mode. We're at KBCE. Jazz, execute. LNAV, turn the autopilot back on. We need to be at 6-1. Right? Should go 6-1. 12,000 feet at Jazz. Just leave it at 6-1. Here. Wow. I mentioned early on when we first started this live stream that jumping ahead into your just jumping ahead of the approach could put you in a really bad spot. Where are we? Okay, there's Jazz. Our speed 200.
Salt Lake Tower, Kin Lima Alpha Oscar
Lima Alpha Oscar
839, 6
839er,
miles south,
Salt Lake Tower,
6100.
altimeter
Sierra,
2992. Make straight and runway tree 4 right.
Localizer, it's probably knocked that out. 109, 109.5.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er, please acknowledge.
Make straight and runway, tree 4 right. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 839er.
Warlock. Still don't know why we lost our drone cam. I'm afraid to touch any of the drone cam buttons now because of what it did to us last time. It'll throw us out into drone cam mode, but... Oh, no, we got it back again. But that bugged last approach. Huh. Can't explain it. There's our diamond. Okay, viewer log, out, hold, 6-1. This is the way it should have worked last time. Now, just we're waiting for this diamond, this magenta diamond, to center up on 6,100 feet at Shovel, and that is in 7 miles. We're already on VOR lock, and then we hit the approach. So in the first attempt, again, it brought us, we had to get over these mountains over here. So I couldn't get an option to descend. I had no choice but to maintain height. But after this point, I had to drop down. And although we did seemingly make our altitude, and ILS was right, the approach wouldn't take. We overshot. Had to declare missed approach, and so I diverted us south so we would have all this straight line right here to be able to make sure that we can come in at the right altitude and get set up. But when we did the skipping to the arrival, it put us over there at 4,500 feet when everything in our system was set up to 26,000. So I can't totally explain why it dropped us down to that altitude. .3 miles to Cheville, and the that diamond is still says we're still low. Should be dropping right down to us. Here it comes. There it goes. You can hit approach anytime now, but normally I was taught, wait till it gets to centered. So 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, centered. Hit approach. Okay. Nose down, so it has taken 140 knots.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Wind calm.
Okay, gear down.
Land runway tree 4 right.
Clear to land.
Let's go full flaps 30.
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er.
Arm the speed brake. Armed. Landing lights on. Both autopilots are on. Good PAPI lights. 2 white, 2 red. Now, in the 737, as opposed to the Boeing, Airbus, this thing, we shouldn't have to flare or do anything. It should handle the full touchdown. So all we have to do is turn off the autopilot. This is a full auto land, and then our spoiler, our speed brake should engage by itself, being armed. All we have to do is brake and reverse thrust. We might not even have to reverse thrust. That moment of uneasiness. All right. Autopilot off. Speed brake activated. Yeah. Yeah. Brake. We overshot. Go into reverse thrust. Overshot.
Turn next taxiway.
Okay, turn off the speed brake, bring the flaps back up. Take off the brake, put it back into forward. And that's the way it's supposed to work. That's a brake thing.
Tree 9er. Exit runway when able. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Contact ground on 12 tree decimal 775.
12 tree decimal 775. Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er. Salt Lake ground. Ken Lima Alpha.
Mm-hmm. So, my friends, descents into madness. I hope the flights that they set you up with
Ken Lima Alpha Oscar 8 Tree 9er, please acknowledge.
Aren't as crap as this. I hope that any of the workaround stuff I talked about works for you. As you see in this case, you know, Again, I diverted us south or south so that we could get a better approach and not have to come down after those mountains. But be careful again, as you saw, when you skip to the approach, they threw us down really close to the ground. And you got to really be able to recover quickly from that and make sure that you're on your autopilot's re-engaged if it shuts it off, and that your flight plan is set right in the FMC. Lord. It shouldn't be that hard. And I don't, they're like, it's a bug. And some people are like, no, it's not a bug. You should know more. And I'm like, you shouldn't have to know more. In the past, doing all kinds of different airliner flights, I've never had air traffic control start bringing me down so late ever. I've never had to go back in and check and double check a flight plan and change flight plan stuff to make sure that we don't have a bad descent and we get a good approach. But I guess you'll get the experience. And that's the best way to put a positive spin on all of it. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's a pain in the butt. But we're learning what to do. How to fly a missed approach. Pain in the butt. Look, I'm level 170. I can cast like 1,000 magic missiles per round now. Unstoppable. I don't know what my schedule is like tomorrow yet. Everything's kind of on call. I'm doing real world transportation of ground vehicles. I'm not even trustworthy enough to move air vehicles. So anyway, I'm moving some cars tomorrow. And I don't know how many at this point. And I don't know at what point I'll be done. Hopefully it's all done early enough that I can get back and do my afternoon live stream. If not, maybe tomorrow night. If not, I'll see you Monday. So we'll all just play it by ear. Thank you so much for tuning in. Even taking a minute out of your day to tune in and watch me screw everything up. Please like and subscribe. I see that a bunch of people come in, just to at least come in for a couple of seconds. Please be kind and hit that like button. That'll help me out tremendously. I really appreciate it. Okay, folks, until next time. I'm going to let this run for a minute so it throws up that, whatever. Watch this video next and puts it on a rather, just a plain background. Sometimes it's too complicated, too much stuff going on the screen. Clearly read the what's next screen or the playlist thing. I just let it run for like 30 seconds on black screen. Garbage. Well, you win some, you lose some,